Hey everybody, I hope that you're well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 8 advanced writing lesson on context clues. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts. We're doing grade 8. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of context clues. All right, so chapter is context clues. Our subject is English Language Arts. We're doing grade 8, which is advanced writing. All right. So when it comes to context clues, right? We say that we said our list. Firstly, our chapter is context clues. The lessons is to determine the meaning of words using synonyms in context, and we're going to determine the meaning of words using antonyms in context. So we are going to determine the meaning of words using synonyms in context, and we're going to determine the meaning of words using antonyms in context, and that is going to be our lessons for today. So when we encounter unfamiliar words, words that we are not familiar with, right? Then you can use synonyms as context clues to help determine the words as meanings. And remember, we said that synonyms are words with the same meaning, or it's words with almost the same meaning. So synonyms are words with the same meaning, or it's words with almost the same meaning. Right? So we are going to be determining the meaning of the words using context clues. So once again, we see that if you are unfamiliar with certain words, whether it is synonyms, whether it's antonyms, you can use synonyms or you can use antonyms as context clues to help you determine the words as meaning. And synonyms are words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning. And antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. If we look at an example of synonyms, right? It says Jessica's buoyant personality is infectious. Whenever we spend time together, I end up in a cheerful mood too. So buoyant, cheerful. Because here the person says that Jessica's buoyant personality is infectious. Whenever we spend time together, I end up in a cheerful mood too. So that word too tells us that cheerful and buoyant are basically synonyms of each other, of one another, yeah, they are synonyms. So basically, the synonym of cheerful can help you to figure out that buoyant also means happy or upbeat or cheerful, right? And then when you encounter unfamiliar words, also you can often use antonyms as context clues to help determine the words' meaning. And we said antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. Synonyms are words with the same meaning or similar meanings, whereas antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. And if we look at an example, it says, although the bank's employees thought that the currency looked real, the federal investigator easily determined that the bills were counterfeit. All right. So we need to determine the meanings, right? By using antonyms as context clues. The opposite. The opposite. So which means that if we need to look at the opposite, it says here the currency looks real, but federal investigators determined the bills were counterfeit. Counterfeit means that the money was fake. And the opposite of fake is real. So which means that if something is not real, it is fake. All right. So when it comes to synonyms, we are going to choose within the sentence, we're going to choose the words that are similar in meaning, and that is how we're going to look at the words that will give us, let's say, the context of the text and how we will be able to find out what the meaning of these words are based on the context of the text. And then also, we're going to look at the antonyms, right? And antonyms, words with the opposite meaning, will also be able to determine what the meaning of the text is. And we looked at these two examples. So now let's go to aplusstudents.ca, and then we're going to look at a few examples over there. We are now going to determine the meaning of words using synonyms in context and then antonyms in context. All right. So we see that when you encounter unfamiliar words, words that you're not familiar with, then you can use synonyms as context clues, right? To determine or help you to determine the words' meaning. Synonyms are words with the same meaning or almost the same meaning. Now we need to look at we're going to look at this text, right? And then we are going to say, what is the meaning of the word deficient as used in the passage? Deficient. It says scurvy is a nutritional disorder caused by a diet lacking in vitamin C. Near Near the end of the 15th century, scurvy was the major cause of illness and death among sailors and lengthy ocean voyages because their diets were often deficient in fresh fruits and vegetables. In 1753, Scottish surgeon James Lind showed that scurvy could be treated and prevented by consuming citrus fruits. Right? All right. So we now need to say what is the meaning of the word deficient as used in the passage. Deficient. It says that because their diets were often deficient in fresh fruits and vegetables. All right. So now we need to say what is the meaning of the word deficient as per our text. Deficient. And if we were to determine what the word deficient mean, especially based on the text, and especially if they are saying over here that because their diets were often deficient in fresh fruits and vegetables, then it means that deficient means that they were not having enough of something needed, meaning that they needed more fruit and they needed more vegetables. So it's not having enough of something. And then specifically, like we say, fruits and vegetables, and they needed to consume more citrus fruits, right? All right, now we're going on to the next one. It says in the desert there are little there is a little humidity in the atmosphere to act as insulation. So daily temperatures vary greatly. The minimum temperature may drop as low as 0 degrees, while the maximum may be as high as 120 degrees. Because conditions fluctuate so dramatically, plants and animals require special mechanisms to survive there. All right, so we need to select the synonym that helps you to understand the meaning of the word fluctuate. Fluctuate. It says in the desert there is a little humidity in the atmosphere to act as an insulation. So daily temperatures vary greatly. The minimum temperature may drop as low as 0 degrees, while the maximum may be as high as 120 degrees because conditions fluctuate so dramatically. Plants and animals require special mechanisms to survive there. All right. So we now need to select the synonym that helps us to understand the meaning of the word fluctuate. Synonym, we need to find a word that means similar or something that means similar to fluctuate. Something that is similar to fluctuate. And if we were to look at that word fluctuate, because it says conditions fluctuate so dramatically, right? Then we can say fluctuate means that they rise dramatically, right? They rise dramatically. Sometimes we can say they rise dramatically, irregularly, right? That is basically what fluctuate means. It rises. All right. So when it comes to fluctuate, all right, let's look at the next one. It says seedlings often grow best at a distance from the parent plant where they can avoid competition for nutrition. As a result, plants have evolved different strategies to disperse seeds away from their parents. One such strategy is to use the wind to scatter the seeds to new locations. So we now need to select the synonym that helps us to understand the meaning of the word disperse. Disperse. It says plants that have evolved different strategies to disperse seeds away from their parents. Disperse. And if we were to look at the meaning of that word, disperse, right? And then we can say scatter is another word. Scattering, it's spreading, because that is basically what disperse means. It's like it's being scattered, it's being um spread over like the specific area, right? And they spread out over the specific area in order for them to find new locations. All right, so now we're going to our test where we are going to determine the meaning of words using synonyms in context. Synonyms in context. It says, what is the meaning of the word deficient as used in the passage? Deficient. It says scurvy is a nutritional disorder caused by a diet lacking in vitamins. So near the end of the 15th century, scurvy was the major cause of illness and deaths among sailors and lengthy ocean voyages because their diets were often deficient in fresh fruits and vegetables. In 1753, Scottish surgeon James Lind showed that scurvy could be treated and prevented by consuming citrus fruits. So now we need to say what is a synonym of the word deficient. Is it lacking? Option one, deficient or deficiency. Option two and three. Which one is correct? Scurvy. We need to find the word, what we need to find the synonym of the word deficient. And if we were to find the synonym, right, the word that is the same or almost same as deficient, right, then it is lacking because it's not having enough of something. So if you're not having enough of something, then it means that you are lacking something. And they specifically say that they are lacking citrus fruits. Ah, so basically deficient is deficient. Okay, I thought that they're going to give us a different word. So deficient is deficient. Let's start there. But another word for deficient is also lacking, right? It's also lacking because it's not having enough of something needed. All right, deficient is deficient. Let's stick to that. All right, we need to select the synonym that helps you to understand the meaning of the word boisterous. Boisterous. It says thousands of boisterous soccer fans filled the stadium, waving flags and singing fight songs. When the center forward quickly scored a goal, the rowdy crowd erupted in cheers. Boisterous. And the meaning of boisterous is basically like we say, they are rowdy, they are noisy, they are wild sometimes, over energetic. If you get a word like over energetic. And if we were to select the synonym that helps you to understand the meaning of the word boisterous, another word is actually rowdy. But now I don't know if I should choose rowdy or if I should choose boisterous again. But the synonym of boisterous is rowdy. The synonym of boisterous can be noisy. Let us rather choose boisterous because I don't know if it's going to be rowdy or if it's going to be boisterous. Let's quickly just choose boisterous again. But oh, but rowdy is the synonym of boisterous. All right. What is the meaning of the word boisterous as used in the passage? So now I want to know the meaning of the word. It says thousands of boisterous fans filled the stadium waving flags and singing fight songs. When the center forward quickly scored a goal, the rowdy crowd erupted in cheers. So now, boisterous is a dedicated or committed, stubborn and rude, loud and lively. So basically, boisterous is more where they are loud and lively. They can be rowdy, sometimes rude. So the meaning would then be rowdy. Now I don't know if they want rowdy or if they want boisterous. Let's just go with rowdy for now. Ah, they want boisterous. I don't understand this. Okay, so the meaning of boisterous, right, is actually loud and lively, right? Which is also another word for rowdy because they specifically say they are rowdy, they are loud, they are cheerful, they are lively, right? Noisy, loud. That is what they say. That is what boisterous is. And if they want the meaning of boisterous, then it is definitely rowdy or loud or lively. But okay, boisterous is a boisterous. All right. So far, do we understand other than my incorrect answers that we have over there? We need to select the synonym that helps to understand the meaning of the word perceptive. Perceptive. It says Abby is a television journalist who is famous for her perceptive interviewing style. Her insightful questions reveal extensive knowledge of her interview subjects and often inspire them to respond with an openness not shown in other interviews. Perceptive. And if we were to select the synonym of the word perceptive, right, then the word perceptive perceptive would actually be insightful. It would be insightful. So the synonym of perceptive, right, would be insightful. It would be like where you are more observant, right? Because this is more my perceptive or perception on something. You are more knowledgeable about something. So yeah, if we want to choose the correct one, I don't know if I should choose insightful. Let us just choose perceptive because I don't know if they want insightful. Perceptive it is. And yet says Abby is a television journalist who is famous for her perceptive interviewing styles, her insightful questions reveal extensive knowledge of her interview subjects and often inspire them to respond with an openness not shown in other interviews. So we need to find the meaning of the word. And the meaning of the word perceptive, right, is a demonstrative, a quick understanding, complex and difficult, having shown formal etiquette, right? So basically, perceptive is insightful, a quick understanding of something, right? But I think let us just go with the word perceptive because I don't know. They want the word again, right? They want us to give the word again. All right. Now we're going to determine the meaning of the words using antonyms in context. And antonyms are words with the opposite meaning. It's words with the opposite meaning of what it actually means, what a specific word means. All right. Now, once again, we said that if you experience or you encounter an unfamiliar word, then you can use antonyms or synonyms as context clues to help determine the meaning of a word, right? And we said antonyms are words with opposite meaning. So now, before we go to our test, let us quickly just look at two activities. It says, what is the meaning of the word perturbed? Perturb as used in the passage. We need to use the antonym calm as a context clue to help you determine the meaning. It says massage therapy is a popular treatment for relieving stress and pain, but it isn't for everyone. Massages are intended to calm patients, but they often perturb those who are uncomfortable with an unfamiliar touch. So, messages are supposed to calm patients, but they often perturb those who are uncomfortable with unfamiliar touch. So, perturb is it to embarrass or upset or shame, sorry, to bother, upset, confuse, or bewilder. And if we were to find the opposite meaning of perturb, then it would be to calm. The opposite of perturb. The opposite of perturb is to calm, because the meaning of perturb, right? It's like when you're anxious, right? You are unsettled. You are not comfortable with something. So the opposite of perturb is calm, right? It's calm. All right. So now we're going on to our test, where we are going to determine the meaning of words using antonyms in context. All right. We need to say what is the meaning of the word insufficient as used in the passage. Insufficient, right? We need to use the antonym enough as a context clue to help you to determine the meaning. It says in a criminal trial, lawyers for the defense may try to have the case dismissed for a variety of reasons. For example, if they feel like the prosecuting attorney hasn't provided enough proof, they may ask the judge to dismiss the case for insufficient evidence. So, insufficient evidence. The opposite of insufficient evidence or insufficient would be to have enough, right? So, enough is the opposite of insufficient because insufficient means that you don't have enough. So, the opposite of insufficient is that I have enough. Specifically in that context, you have enough evidence. All right, let's look at the next one. We need to select the antonym that helps you to understand the meaning of the word concise. Concise or concise. Writing that is concise often conveys its message most clearly and effectively to the reader. You can prevent your writing from becoming too wordy by deleting unnecessary words and phrases and by using specific, precise language. And if we were to select the antonym that helps us to understand the meaning of the word concise, right? Then we can say it is too wordy. Too wordy. Wordy is the opposite of concise. And then lastly, what is the meaning of the word concise as used in the passage? Right? Is it formal or elegant, persuasive, convincing, short, and to the point? So we will stick to the word concise, the opposite of it or the meaning of it. Let's just stick to it being wordy. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on context clues. We had to determine the meaning of words using synonyms in context as well as antonyms in context. And if you are unfamiliar with certain words or with certain contexts, right? Words in context, then you may either use the synonyms as a context clue to find words that are more similar or almost the same as what that word means within the text in order to find the meaning of that word. Or you may use antonyms, right, as context clues in order to determine the opposite meaning of that word in order to make it much more easier for you to also understand what the word or the meaning of the word means. Right, so this is now the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining the class, and I really hope you're going to have a good evening further. Till next time, goodbye.